जब हमने जांच दी है तो मैं सीबीआई की जांच को प्रभावित नहीं करना चाहूंगा अपना निर्णय करके। हमने बस ये किया कि जो शिकायत आई थी उसमें अगर 1 इंच की भी, 1 आयोटा की भी सच्चाई है तो हम उसके ऊपर लेके कार्रवाई किए हैं। अब किस हद तक है, कितना हद तक है, उसको करने में समय लगेगा, परंतु हम जानते समय बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। हम जितना डिले करेंगे उतना यह समस्या बढ़ेगी। उतना अगर हमको री एग्जाम करना है तो वो निर्णय आज हम ले रहे हैं तो हम जल्दी कर पाएंगे। तो हम जांच की इंतजार करें, वो क्या हुआ है, कितने प्रश्न हैं, कौन कौन इन्वॉल्व है, कितने राज्य इन्वॉल्व है, कौन इन्वॉल्व है, यह सब उसकी सीबीआई की रिपोर्ट में आएगा। एक बार अभी मैं अपनी टीम के साथ बैठ करके वही तय करने का प्रयास कर रहा हूं। जब मुझे बताया इन लोगों ने कि आप सब यहां इंतजार कर रहे हो तो मुझे लगा आपकी भी बहुत महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका होती है। इनफैक्ट परीक्षा के पहले जो हमने तमाम कई स्कैमर्स के ऊपर कार्रवाई की, उसकी इनपुट हमें मीडिया से भी मिली। तो मीडिया एक बहुत सशक्त माध्यम है इस तरह के जो अनैतिक कार्य करते हैं, जो एंटी सोशल एलिमेंट्स हैं, जो बच्चों के भविष्य के साथ खिलवाड़ करते हैं, उसको रोकने के लिए। तो जैसे ही इन्होंने बताया मैंने बोला मैं चल के आपसे एक साथ बात करूंगा। पहले मैंने बोला कि सबको ऊपर ही बुला लो, बट फिर ये कहा कि नहीं, वहाँ सेटअप इतना नहीं हो पाएगा, यहीं चलते हैं। तो मैं यही आश्वस्त करना चाहूंगा आपके माध्यम से कि हम हर ऐसे व्यक्ति को जो ये बदमाशी करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, और कहीं भी रिपोर्ट आती है कि कोई प्रश्न पत्र बेच रहा है या कोई झांसा दे रहा है, बहुत सारे ऐसे केसेस आए एग्जाम के पहले जिसमें लोग ओटीपी मांगते थे, वो स्कैम कर रहा है, पेपर देने की बात करके ओटीपी मांग के उसका बैंक अकाउंट खाली कर रहा है। तो हम उस सारे लोगों के ऊपर कार्रवाई किए हैं और हमारी यही नीति है कि हम एग्जाम में किसी भी तरह की अनियमितता नहीं होने देंगे।
सर एक सवाल
डेट के लिए मैं अभी अपनी टीम के साथ बैठूंगा और अब अगले कुछ दिनों में पूरी शेड्यूल डेट का हम अनाउंस कर देंगे। हमारा प्रयास यही रहेगा कि हम कम से कम समय में एग्जाम कर लें, जिससे कि जो एकेडमिक कैलेंडर है, जो मेडिकल कॉलेजेस का एडमिशन शेड्यूल है, वो वायलेट ना हो। हम अगले 7 से 10 दिनों के अंदर शेड्यूल बता दें।
सर अभिषेक सर, एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण सवाल है। आपका ही डिपार्टमेंट तय करता है सारी चीजें, प्रश्न पत्र तैयार किया जाता है, फिर उसको छपने के लिए दिया जाता है। इस ट्रेल में कहीं आपको लगता है कि आपका ही कोई कर्मचारी या आपसे जुड़ा हुआ कोई कर्मचारी जो अंदर खेमे में है, वही पेपर लीक करता है, वही डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करता है, वही पैसे का लेन देन करता है? क्या अंदर का ही कोई शख्स है? क्योंकि देखिए, जब पेपर छपने के लिए जाता है और जब पेपर बनता है उसमें सभी इन्वॉल्वमेंट अधिकारियों का ही होता है मेरे ख्याल से, अगर मैं गलत नहीं हूं। तो कहां पर वो चूक होती है, कहां से वो लिख करके पेपर इधर उधर होता है, कहां से एसएमएस के जरिए जाता है, ये कैसे होता है सर?
देखिए, ये अंदर का हो या बाहर का हो, सीबीआई से हमारी यही दरखास्त है कि जो भी हो उसको पकड़ के उसको सजा दिलाई जाए, ताकि ये जो समस्या है ये जड़ से खत्म हो पाए। मैं आपके जितना जानकार नहीं हूं, मैं अभी 1 अप्रैल को ही ज्वाइन किया हूं। मैं सिस्टम को अभी किसको ये बताना कि कौन दोषी है कौन नहीं दोषी है, विल बी प्री जजिंग द होल इंक्वायरी। हम सीबीआई को निष्पक्ष, स्वतंत्र रूप से जांच करने की रिक्वेस्ट किए हैं, और जिसमें एनटीए से जो भी सूचना चाहिए, एनटीए के जिस कर्मचारी से पूछताछ करनी चाहिए, सीबीआई को पूरी राइट्स होगी। हम उनको पूरा सहयोग करेंगे और हम सुनिश्चित करेंगे कि यह सिचुएशन जो आज हम हैं ये दोबारा न आए, और जो भी दोषी है उसको कड़ी से कड़ी सजा दी जाए।
सिस्टम को भी बदलेंगे? क्या सिस्टम को भी बदलेंगे? क्या सिस्टम को भी बदलेंगे? क्या सिस्टम जो आपने अपनाया है अभी तक उसमें कोई बदलाव होगा?
मतलब सिस्टम क्या है, सिस्टम में क्या खामी है, ये इंक्वायरी से जब निकल के आएगा तो अगर सिस्टम के पार्ट में कोई भी ऐसा क्रम है जिसकी वजह से समस्या होती है तो उसको डेफिनेटली रिव्यू किया जाएगा।
पहली बात हुई है सर, ओरिजिन कहाँ था? व्हाट वाज द ओरिजिन एंड व्हाट वाज द मोडिस ऑपरेंडी? आपने कहा कि डिजिटल के जरिए भी हुआ और फिजिकली भी उसे कुरियर के द्वारा भेजा गया। इसमें
मैंने नहीं कहा,
ऐसी रिपोर्ट्स आ रही है सामने, तो आप ये हाईलाइट करिए सर।
देखिए, मैं यही कहना चाहूंगा कि अगर हमने जांच सीबीआई को दी है तो, और जितने दिन में हमें 7 तारीख को खबर मिली, हमने इतने दिन में इतना ही तय किया कि कंप्लेंट में सच्चाई है या नहीं है, ओरिजिन क्या है, कौन कौन जिम्मेदार हैं, ये निर्णय इतनी जल्दी हम नहीं ले सकते, ना हमारी क्षमता है। यह कार्य सीबीआई का है और सीबीआई यह कार्य सुचारू रूप से करके ये सबके सामने लेके आएगी कि क्या हुआ, कहां से शुरू हुआ, कौन कौन इन्वॉल्व था, कितने लोग इन्वॉल्व थे, कितने राज्यों में हुआ, तो ये सब जानकारी सीबीआई देगी।
अभी भी नहीं मान रहे कि पेपर लीक हुआ है? क्या आप अभी भी नहीं मान रहे?
हमने साफ ये कहा, हमने ये साफ कहा कि जो पीडीएफ जो सर्कुलेट हुआ उसमें से कुछ प्रश्न पत्र से मिल रहे थे, तो इसको अगर आप लीक कहें या अनियमितता कहें या वायलेशन ऑफ प्रोसेस कहें, हमने यह माना कि ये एग्जाम की जो प्रक्रिया चल रही थी उसका उल्लंघन था। इतनी हद तक था कि हमें यह कड़ा निर्णय लेना पड़ा कि एग्जाम कैंसिल करें।
सर कहाँ लूप हो जाएगी? अभी शुरुआती जांच में भी आपको समझ
नहीं, अगर गड़बड़ कहां से हुई और कहां चूक हुई, इसके मैं अंतिम निष्कर्ष पे पहुंच जाता तो सीबीआई को क्या कार्य देने की आवश्यकता होती। हम सारी सूचनाएं, हम जो जितनी जानकारी है हमारे पास, और हम नहीं चाहते कि सीबीआई की जांच किसी भी तरह से प्रभावित हो, तो सीबीआई को फ्री जांच करना बहुत आवश्यक है। इस समस्या को जड़ से खत्म करना आवश्यक है।
नासिक में छपा पेपर सर, छपने की शुरुआत कहाँ से हुई?
पेपर के छपने की शुरुआत एक जगह नहीं होती है, कई जगह होती है। वह गोपनीय रखा जाता है तमाम कारणों के लिए, परंतु सीबीआई को वह सारी जानकारी दी जाएगी और सीबीआई वह जो कोई भी व्यक्ति है, किसी भी स्टेज पर है, किसी भी क्रम में है, उसको पकड़ के निकालेगी।
2024 में पेपर लीक हुआ था, कब थमेगा? 2024 में पेपर लीक हुआ था, 2026 में भी लीक हुआ। पेपर लीक का सिलसिला कब थमेगा?
आप क्या कर रहे हैं सर?
पेपर लीक का सिलसिला कब थमेगा सर?
एंटायर प्रोसेस विल बी ओवर विद इन 14 डेज।
प्रोसेस ऑफ
अभिषेक जी,
नो, इट विल टेक लॉन्गर।
अभिषेक जी, पेपर लीक का सिलसिला कब थमेगा? अभिषेक जी, पेपर लीक का सिलसिला कब थमेगा? 24 में भी लीक, 26 में भी लीक।
पेपर लीक का सिलसिला तत्काल प्रभाव से खत्म हो जाना चाहिए। यह दुर्भाग्य है कि हम इस स्टेज पर हैं। यह हमारे देश के बच्चों के लिए, हमारे देश के बच्चों के अभिभावकों के लिए, पूरे इकोसिस्टम के लिए, हमारे तंत्र में मुझे पता है 2 लाख से ज्यादा लोग पूरे एग्जाम में जुड़े थे। यह किसी के लिए श्रेयस्कर नहीं है। हम इस बात की जिम्मेदारी लेते हैं कि जो हुआ गलत हुआ, हम उसको कैंसिल कर रहे हैं, दोबारा कराने की ले रहे हैं, इस एश्योरेंस के साथ ले रहे हैं। जब मैंने पिछले महीने अप्रैल में भी बात की, प्रेस रिलीज दिया था, हमने यही कहा था 0 टॉलरेंस है। परंतु उसके बाद अगर कोई अनियमितता होती है तो हमारा ये काम नहीं है कि हम उसको रफा दफा करें, हम उसको एक्सेप्ट करेंगे, हम परीक्षा कैंसिल करेंगे, ताकि ऐसे तत्व जो इस पूरी प्रक्रिया की पारदर्शिता को और पूरी प्रक्रिया के जो इंटीग्रिटी को वायलेट करते हैं वो सफल ना हो पाए। तो अगर हम कुछ भी कैंसिल करने और री एग्जाम करने से कम करते हैं तो ये उनको बढ़ावा होगा।
22 लाख बच्चों को क्या कहेंगे सर? 22 लाख स्टूडेंट्स को आप क्या कहेंगे सर? आपको
स्टूडेंट्स को कैसा भरोसा देगा?
कितना दिनों में हो जाएगा?
क्या कहेंगे?
एक स्टूडेंट से बस मेरी यही अपील है कि कभी भी ऐसे किसी व्यक्ति के झांसे में ना आए जो प्रश्न पत्र बेच रहा है या धोखा देने की कोशिश कर रहा है। अगर कुछ भी ऐसा कर रहा है तो उसको पुलिस को या एनटीए को रिपोर्ट करिए, हम उसके खिलाफ कार्रवाई करेंगे। अगर ऐसे व्यक्ति को आप प्रलोभन में आते हैं तो वह उनको बढ़ावा देता है और पूरे व्यवस्था को चौपट करने में कंट्रीब्यूट करता है। तो हमसे बड़ी गुजारिश है कि अपनी मेहनत पे विश्वास करें। जो बच्चे मेहनत करते हैं उनको हम पूरी न्याय देंगे और इस एग्जाम सुचारू रूप से करेंगे।
सर कितना दिनों में हो जाएगा ये बताओ?
हम बता देंगे
फटाफट आइए।
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be. After a blockbuster first season, where corporate giants and industry leaders ruled the court, TV9 Network presents the ultimate corporate badminton championship Season 2. A battle of skill, speed and supremacy, with a massive 5 lakh rupee prize pool across categories. At Pulela Gopichand Badminton Academy, Gachibowli, Hyderabad, from the 15th to the 17th May 2026. The court is set. Let the battles begin. Catch the action only on TV9 Network. To register, log on to www.tv9x.com.
Associate sponsor KL deemed to be university. Special partners Campa Sure, Shukar hai, Sure hai. JK Max Paints. ChatGPT helps you get answers and find inspiration. Venue partner Pulela Gopichand Badminton Academy.
Everyone who's tried it believes it. New Birla Opus Paints gives up to 16 years warranty on walls. That's why it's the new paint for a new era.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.
Now, in a major development, the National Testing Agency has officially cancelled the NEET UG 2026 examination held on May 3rd following allegations of irregularities and paper leak. Now, the decision comes after inputs from the government and central investigation agencies. The National Testing Agency, or NTA, said complaints related to irregularities and alleged paper leak in the NEET UG 2026 examination had surfaced soon after the test was conducted. The agency said that matter was referred to central investigation agencies on May 8th for a detailed inquiry. Following the findings shared by the agencies, the government and the NTA concluded that the integrity of the examination had been compromised. As a result, the entire NEET UG examination conducted on May 3rd now stands cancelled. NTA has announced that the examination will now be conducted again, with fresh dates to be announced soon on the official website. The agency also confirmed that the investigation into the allegations irregularities have in fact now be handled by the Central Bureau of Investigation. NTA said it will fully cooperate with the probe. Acknowledging the stress and inconvenience caused to students and families, the agency said that the decision was necessary to protect the credibility of the examination system and maintain students' trust. NTA also clarified that candidates that have not have to submit any sort of fresh application forms or get registered freshly. Existing registrations and previously selected examination centers will remain valid. No additional examination fee will be charged for candidates. Now, the agency further stated that the fees already paid by students will also be refunded.
This is not the first time the question paper has leaked. This is probably the 4th or 5th time, and the government, the BJP government, did not take any remedial measures. The National Testing Agency is the repository of all the RSS functionaries, and that is the reason why these kind of leaks are happening again and again. We have pointed out a number of times that this system, this NEET exams, does not decide merit. It cannot decide merit. You study for 2 years and those marks are totally discarded, and now you say, oh, you prepare for an examination and allow the examinations to go on, and say you should base the admissions on this examination, one-off examination, which has spoiled the future of millions of students. And now yet again, we get the report that 23 lakh students are affected. What is the government going to do? Why have they not fixing responsibility? Should not the HRD minister resign, or whoever is responsible for this? They have changed the name now. Should he not resign? Should he not take moral responsibility? They have outsourced this to NTA.
जी बिल्कुल, देखिए पुलिस ने बकायदा यहाँ पर बैरिकेटिंग की हुई है, किसी को भी बाहर निकलने की यहाँ पर परमिशन नहीं दी जा रही है। फिर भी हम कोशिश करते हैं बात करने की। क्या कहना चाहेंगे आप लोग?
देखिए, ये बीजेपी सरकार जो है किस तरीके से पेपर माफियाओं के साथ में मिलके जो है जो गरीब परिवार के जो बच्चे हैं वो मेहनत करते हैं और देश की सेवा करना चाहते हैं, और इनके जो कहीं ना कहीं जो कोचिंग सेंटर थे वो बीजेपी से कहीं ना कहीं रिलेटेड है। तो सरकार जो है इसके अंदर जो है इनडायरेक्टली रूप से जो है मिलकर जो है इन छात्र छात्राओं के साथ में जो है अन्याय कर रहे हैं। NSI इंडिया के जो हमारे विनोद जाखड़ जी हैं उनके नेतृत्व में हम इसके कड़े शब्दों में यहाँ पे निंदा करते हैं, विरोध करते हैं, और भविष्य में यदि इस प्रकार की कोई भी घटना घटित होते हैं तो भारत सरकार के लोगों को और बीजेपी सरकार के लोगों को ये बात समझ में आ जानी चाहिए कि जिस तरीके से पड़ोसी देशों के साथ पड़ोसी देशों के अंदर जो जैन जी किस तरीके से आपकी तख्ता पलट करी, वो जो है अगर आप यहाँ भी युवाओं के साथ में जो है यदि भेदभाव करेंगे या उनके भविष्य के साथ में खिलवाड़ करेंगे तो आपकी जो गद्दी है वो जरूर कहीं ना कहीं जो है खिसक जाएगी।
तो बिल्कुल देखिए, यूथ कांग्रेस के ठीक बाहर, दफ्तर के ठीक बाहर ये प्रोटेस्ट किया गया। हालांकि अब इस मामले की जो तफ्तीश है सीबीआई को दी गई है। सीबीआई की एक टीम जल्द से जल्द गठित होगी इस मामले को लेकर। एक ज्वाइंट डायरेक्टर के तहत ये टीम गठित की जाएगी और तफ्तीश भी उनके द्वारा की जाएगी। बाकायदा इसको लेकर इस वक्त सीबीआई हेडक्वार्टर के अंदर मंथन भी किया जा रहा है। ये देखिए, जो यूथ कांग्रेस का ऑफिस है वहां पर बड़ी संख्या में ना सिर्फ कांग्रेसी कार्यकर्ता जो कि यूथ कांग्रेस से जुड़े हुए हैं वो यहाँ पर मौजूद है, इसके NSI स्टूडेंट भी बड़ी संख्या में यहाँ पर इस वक्त इस प्रोटेस्ट में हिस्सा ले रहे हैं।
सर ये 2024 में भी पेपर लीक हुआ था, 2026 में वही NTA पहले तो बोलता है रेडी रहो और बाद में NTA पेपर लीक आउट करा देता है। तो मतलब ये है कि रीनीट होने से ये तो है नहीं कि वापस पेपर लीक, इसकी क्या जिम्मेदारी है कि रीनीट हो गई तो पेपर लीक आउट नहीं होगा। ये हमें ये मांग है सरकार से, धर्मेंद्र प्रधान से, या तो गद्दी छोड़ दो या फिर कंडक्ट करवाओ तो सही ढंग से करवाओ, हमारी ये मांग है।
तो ये देखिए किस तरीके से यहाँ पर इस वक्त स्टूडेंट मौजूद है और बड़ी संख्या में पुलिस बल भी यहाँ पर देखा जा सकता है जो लगातार सीटी बजाकर यहाँ पर इन स्टूडेंट्स को कोशिश करे कि किसी तरीके से तमाम छात्र और जो कार्यकर्ता यूथ कांग्रेस से जुड़े हुए हैं ये यूथ कांग्रेस के दफ्तर के अंदर तक चले जाएं। हालांकि कुछ स्टूडेंट्स को यहाँ पर अभी हिरासत में लिया गया, जो परीक्षाएं वो रद्द कर दी गई और इसके अलावा जो जांच है वो केंद्र सरकार के द्वारा फिलहाल सीबीआई को सौंप दी गई है। अब सीबीआई इस मामले में आगे की तफ्तीश शुरू करेगी, जानने की कोशिश की जाएगी कि आखिरकार जिसे गैस पेपर कहा जा रहा था क्या वह वाकई पेपर लीक हुआ था, क्योंकि बायोलॉजी और केमिस्ट्री के जो सवाल थे वो तमाम सवाल जो नीट परीक्षा के अंदर आए वो सभी गैस पेपर के अंदर भी देखे गए सो कॉल्ड। तो उसको लेकर अब सीबीआई अपनी तफ्तीश शुरू करेगी।
Meanwhile, students and parents have been advised to rely only on official updates released by NTA and avoid any misinformation or rumors circulating on social media. Meanwhile, let's take a look at a situation coming in from Jammu.
जी हाँ, बिल्कुल सुरभि, आपने सही कहा कि ये इस वक्त का सबसे बड़ा सवाल है कि जिम्मेदारी जो है वो किस तरीके से तय होगी। मैं इस समय पड़ोजी एक इंस्टीट्यूशन है जो मेडिकल और जेई के एग्जाम्स जो हैं उनकी तैयारियां करवाती है और यहाँ पर आप देखिए बहुत सारे बच्चे जो हैं वो अभी बैठे हुए हैं और इस फैसले के बाद कहीं ना कहीं इनको भी अब इस बात को लेकर असमंजस की स्थिति बनी गई है, क्योंकि ये बच्चे वो हैं, इनमें से कई बच्चों ने अभी जो मेडिकल के एग्जाम्स, नीट का एग्जाम जो हुआ था उसे यहाँ पर दिया था और कुछ बच्चे जो हैं वो अभी तैयारी कर रहे हैं। हम इन्हीं बच्चों से बात करते हैं। आपका क्या नाम है बेटा?
सहजलीन।
ये बताइए, अभी जो एग्जाम अभी आपको मालूम चला है कि नीट का कैंसिल हो गया, उसके बाद क्या कुछ रिएक्शन है आपका, क्योंकि तैयारी पिछले कई सालों से आप लोग लगातार कर रहे हैं?
सर ये बहुत डिसअपॉइंटिंग है। जैसे 2024 में भी लीक हुआ, उसके बाद इन्होंने पेपर टफ कर दिया। अब जब 2026 में भी पेपर लीक हुआ है तो जिन बच्चों ने ऑनेस्टी से पेपर दिया था उनका स्कोर अच्छा रहा था, ऑब्वियसली मेरिट इस बार बहुत हाई जानी थी। और जब पेपर लीक हो जाते हैं तो ऑलरेडी इतने बच्चे जो हैं वो जिन्होंने पेपर में चीटिंग की थी वगैरह, जो पेपर लीक हुआ उससे मेरिट तो पहली बात ऑलरेडी हाई चली गई और जो सीट्स थी वो ऑलरेडी बाकी बच्चे ले गए। तो अब जब ये दोबारा पेपर हो रहा है, जब ये दोबारा पेपर होगा तो बच्चे तो काफी डिसअपॉइंट हो जाएंगे कि हमने इतनी मेहनत की फिर भी हमें दोबारा देना पड़ रहा है।
यहाँ पर कुछ और भी बच्चे हैं, आप क्या कहेंगे जिस तरीके से नीट का पेपर कैंसिल किया गया और हर साल नीट के पेपर को ही कहीं ना कहीं टारगेट कर रहे हैं, पेपर लीक हो रहे हैं, एक कहीं ना कहीं मायूसी आ जाती है आपके पास?
मेरा ये मानना है कि बहुत बच्चे होते हैं अपने चाइल्डहुड ईयर से यही सोचते हैं कि किसी को डॉक्टर बनना है या किसी को किसी स्ट्रीम में जाना है। एनटीए कितनी बड़ी एजेंसी है जो इतने पेपर्स कंडक्ट करा रही है, अगर वो ऐसी चीज़ें करेगी आगे तो बच्चों का ट्रस्ट ही ब्रेक कर रही है और कुछ नहीं कर रही है। और ऐसे वो इतने बड़े बड़े ट्वीट्स डालती है जिसमें वो ये चीज़ लिख रही है कि वी आर 10 स्टेप अहेड, इट इज़ नॉट अ स्कूल एग्जाम, इट इज़ समथिंग एट यू वर्सेस द सिस्टम। और फिर उनसे ऐसी गलतियाँ एक्सपेक्ट करना बड़ा ऐसे इम्पॉसिबल सा लगता है। एंड अगर वो इतनी बड़ी बड़ी बातें कहती कि वी हैव GPS ट्रैक्ड व्हीकल्स, तो ये सारी चीज़ें बहुत गलत है। अगर उनके पास GPS ट्रैक्ड व्हीकल्स हैं तो फिर कैसे इतनी लीकेज होगी?
पिछले बार जब 2024 में भी नीट के एग्जाम्स कैंसिल हुए थे तो पूरी तरीके से एग्जाम को रद्द नहीं किया गया था, लेकिन इस बार एग्जाम जो है वो पूरी तरीके से रद्द हो गया। अब इसमें बच्चों का भविष्य जो है वो पूरी तरीके से अधर में लटक गया है। हम जिस इंस्टीट्यूट में हैं उसके टीचर भी हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं। सर, जिस तरीके से 2024 में भी एग्जाम्स जो हैं वो कैंसिल किए गए थे, लेकिन पूरी तरीके से नीट के पेपर्स को रद्द नहीं किया गया था। करीबन 1500 छात्रों को री एग्जाम करवाया गया था, लेकिन इस बार कंप्लीट जो है वो एग्जाम्स को रद्द कर दिया है। कितना असर आप देखते हैं स्टूडेंट्स की लाइफ पर इसका पड़ेगा?
देखिए, पिछली बार तो ये था कि पेपर में कुछ खामियां थी और जो मार्क्स थे वो कई सारे बच्चों के 720 में से 720 आए थे, वो मसला अलग था। आज है कि पेपर आउट हुआ है, और ये नीट में आज केवल पहली बार नहीं हुआ, इससे पहले भी बहुत बार हो चुका है। एक बच्चा जो 2 साल 3 साल 4 साल तैयारी करके वो सोचता है कि नहीं, अपने सपने को जीने के लिए वो इतनी मेहनत कर रहा है कि मैं डॉक्टर बनूंगा, अभी वो पूरी तरीके से मेंटली रिलैक्स है। हम लोगों ने बहुत कोशिश करी, पेरेंट्स ने बहुत कोशिश करी, इनफैक्ट प्रधानमंत्री जी ने भी बड़ी कोशिश करी कि बच्चों की मेंटल हेल्थ ठीक रहे और वो ये पेपर अच्छे से दें। पर आज उन्हें पता चल रहा है कि शायद 1 डेढ़ 2 महीने के बाद उन्हें ये पेपर दोबारा देना है।
नया ट्रॉमा होगा उनके,
नया ट्रॉमा है, बहुत ज्यादा है। तो मतलब बच्चों के, जो बच्चे ईमानदार प्रयास कर रहे हैं और जो सिंडिकेट लगा है इन तरीकों की चीजों में, वो तो इनके साथ इनजस्टिस कर रहा है।
यहाँ पर कुछ और भी बच्चे हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं, उनसे बात कर लेते हैं। आप बताइए, आपके लिए भी एक बड़ा ट्रॉमा है क्योंकि जिस तरीके से पूरा का पूरा नीट का पेपर कैंसिल कर दिया गया?
सर, बच्चों की मेहनत 2 साल की वेस्ट जाती है और ये सिस्टम की बहुत बड़ी हार है। पिछले साल भी हुआ था 2 साल पहले, तो फिर से यही।
तो कुछ और भी बच्चे हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं। ये बताइए कि क्या आप कहेंगे किस तरीके से जो ये नीट का एग्जाम कैंसिल हुआ है, कितना असर पड़ेगा आपके आने वाले फ्यूचर पर और एग्जाम जो आप देने जा रहे हैं?
देखिए, 2 साल की मेहनत कोई मजाक नहीं है बच्चों की। 2 साल लगातार मेहनत करना बच्चों के लिए बहुत मुश्किल होता है, और फिर दूसरे साल में जब पेपर दे, एक पेपर होता है जो कि मई में आता है और वो जाके कैंसिल हो जाए तो वो बड़ी गलत बात है। एक बारी बच्चे ने पेपर दे दिया, वो अब रिलैक्स हो चुका है कि अब ये पेपर हमें वापस नहीं देना पड़ेगा, अच्छा हो चुका है ये, बट वो वापस कैंसिल होकर अब 1.5-2 महीने में हमें वापस देना पड़ेगा, तो वो बहुत गलत बात है।
आपके लिए एक नया ट्रॉमा भी रहेगा अपने?
जी बिल्कुल। हम, हाँ जी, बिल्कुल जो हमने पढ़ा है एक टाइप का ये रीस्टार्ट हो गया कि हमें वापस स्टार्टिंग से पढ़ना पड़ेगा जो हमने पढ़ा, और वो 1 आधे महीने में ही कवर करना पड़ेगा। तो ये बहुत गलत बात है एनटीए की तरफ से, इतनी बड़ी एजेंसी है।
यहाँ पर कुछ और टीचर भी हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं, उनसे भी बात कर लेते हैं। आप किस तरीके से देखते हैं बच्चों की मेंटल इस पर कितना असर पड़ेगा, इस जो ये निर्णय हुआ है?
सर देखिए, नीट का एग्ज़ाम एक ऐसा एग्ज़ाम है जो बच्चे 2 साल से तैयारी करते हैं, और ये एग्ज़ाम बहुत कुछ उनसे ले जाता है, उनका बचपन, उनके शौक, उनके इंटरेस्ट, उनकी हॉबीज़, और वो सिर्फ उस 2 साल तपस्या करते हैं अपने किसी एक ड्रीम कॉलेज को पाने के लिए, और बहुत मेहनत से बच्चे उस एक लक्ष्य को पाने के लिए मेहनत करते हैं। लेकिन जब यहाँ पर एनटीए इस तरीके से, जो भी एजेंसीज जो हैं इस तरीके से एग्ज़ाम कंडक्ट कराए और ऐसे अनफेयर मीन्स के तरीके से बच्चों को क्वालिफिकेशन का वहाँ पर भार उठाना पड़े, तो जो डिज़र्विंग कैंडिडेट्स हैं वो हमेशा सफ़र करते हैं, और ऐसा 2024 में भी हुआ है और इस साल भी हमें देखने के लिए मिला है। चेन्नई से पेपर सीकर से देहरादून और पता नहीं कितने सेंटर्स में गया होगा, और सारी जो मार है उन बच्चों को पड़ती है जो एक्चुअली और ईमानदारी से कोशिश करते हैं। एक मेंटल ट्रॉमा जो बच्चे इस वक्त झेल रहे हैं ऑल अराउंड द कंट्री, उनके लिए एक अलग ही माइंडसेट, अब दोबारा उन्हें वो रिकलेक्ट करनी है चीज़ें, दोबारा से चीज़ों को स्टार्ट करना है, जो आसान बात नहीं है।
आसान बात नहीं है, और जितने भी स्टूडेंट्स जिन्होंने 2026 में नीट के एग्जाम्स को दिया था, वो कहीं ना कहीं एक मेंटल स्ट्रेस से वो परे हो चुके थे, यानी कि उनका मेंटल स्ट्रेस जो है वो बहुत रिलैक्स हो गया था। लेकिन अब जिस तरीके से दोबारा से उनको एग्जाम देना होगा, तो निश्चित रूप में उनके लिए एक बहुत बड़ा ट्रॉमा है, और इस ट्रॉमे से डील करना भी स्टूडेंट्स और उनके पेरेंट्स के लिए एक बहुत बड़ी चुनौती होगी। यहाँ पर कुछ और स्टूडेंट भी हैं, उनसे बात कर लेते हैं। आप बताइए, कितना बड़ा ट्रॉमा आपके लिए है, क्योंकि एक जिस तरीके से नीट का पेपर कैंसिल हुआ?
सर, ये बहुत ही ज़्यादा ट्रॉमेटाइजिंग मोमेंट है। फॉर एग्जांपल, जब कोई बच्चा इतनी देर तक तैयारी करता है, उसके लिए बहुत ज़्यादा डिफ़िकल्ट रहता है इसको मैनेज करना। लाइक अगर उसकी सिलेक्शन हो जाती है तो एक हैप्पीनेस टाइप की होती है, वो सब लास्ट में ख़त्म हो जाता है, एंड बहुत ज़्यादा बुरा लगता है एट द एंड।
We are now joined in by Kapil Gupta, founder of NEETprep.com, and we have also Advocate Bhavin Vyas, petitioner and president, Vidyarthi Vidya Suraksha Samiti of Ahmedabad, and also Advocate Anubha Srivastava, who is an educationist and president of India-wide Parent Association. Now, let's in fact get to Kapil Gupta, founder of NEETprep.com. Kapil Gupta, you know, there's a lot of time and energy spent extra by students who want to crack the NEET paper, and at the end they are met with the disappointment, all because someone out in the system was negligent or someone tried to profit out of it. And this, the information coming out is that the CBI is investigating it and they are finding it that the leak has taken place, and an exam like the NEET, which is, considered to be one of the most prestigious exams in the country, is compromised often now. What is rotting at the system's core?
I don't know. It's a matter of investigation, but I know one thing for sure. I got into IIT in 1997. That year, paper got leaked and it happened again. And I distinctly remember for myself, I had to prepare again. I was sleeping day after the exam. My dad came and told me, get up. I said, exam just happened. Why are you bugging me again? And he said, you have an exam again after 2 months. It was the worst period of my life. I distinctly remember. These kids are going to go through very, very difficult times. I'm specifically recommending a few things to all the kids and parents. Kids should not remain away from their home. They should come back from Kota, Sikar, Delhi, Mumbai. They need to be in their home. They will require a lot of support from their parents. This is going to be a significant mental health crisis. It needs to be managed. Probably Prime Minister needs to come on TV and say, it is just an exam, not more than life. Doesn't decide the worth of your life. And kids don't need to overdo it. They can't study for 16, 17 hours a day and sacrifice on their sleep. Try and study for 10 to 12 hours. Think through what you need to do for next 2.5 months. Have proper food and just keep saying this to yourself. You'll be fine even if you don't get through the exam. It is not a do or die exam. It is very, very important to understand it. This is a terrible day. NTA needs to literally be removed out of this whole thing. It has happened every year and it is absolutely shameful.
Well, as you in fact pointed out, do you think that, as you said, it's been happening constantly with the NTA? Do you think that it is time that it must be acknowledged that there is a need for a system overhaul? Because you're talking about how many thousands and more than that of students being prepared for years together for this exam and then being cheated to an extent. So
22.5 lakh. 22.5 lakh affected households.
That is the number of students who would feel cheated with this. This
is not a student. These are households. There is a buzz in the neighborhood. That kid is preparing to become a doctor. So 22.5 lakh households. So we are talking about 1.1 crore people. This is absolutely horrendous. Someone needs to be held accountable. And by the way, I don't think you can stop the leak with the way exam is conducted right now. How can you conduct a pen paper exam amongst such a big population without paper getting leaked? Some driver, some peon somewhere who doesn't earn enough would have all kind of incentive to leak it. How do you stop such a thing? This is like a mindless thing that has been going on forever.
Well, it is a plan for rethink as well. We also have with us Advocate Bhavin Vyas, who's petitioner and president of the Vidyarthi Vidya Suraksha Samiti Ahmedabad. Of course, Bhavin Vyas, even you would be disappointed with the manner in which this has happened. Isn't it high time that this entire NTA is in fact overhauled? There is a problem. It has to be looked into. It can't keep happening alternate years. You can't put students, lakhs of students into distress like this. But what is the solution? As we had our earlier guest saying, Kapil Gupta, it's a huge number of students who are involved. And there are several loopholes. You have a peon, you have people who are in the middle ground, who are distributing it, who are involved in the preparation. Anyone could become that leak that needs to be plugged. But how could this system be, in fact, taken care of? Can't we use new technologies as such? For example, if in a class, when I don't know how practical it would be, but you have, in terms of movie theaters, you have the movie release only at a particular time on an electronic mode. If those kind of things can be put into place, wouldn't it be much better?
Firstly, I will thank News9 to raising this issue, and we also applaud you. Because in 2023, same issue has happened and News9 has raised that issue. We were the petitioner in Supreme Court. We asked for re-NEET examination in 2023, where whole paper trial, even FIR were done and everything was there. But unfortunate part was that the Supreme Court did not hear our petition. And instead, they said that there should be a code of conduct which they laid down in 2023. They even removed the existing NTA head. The same thing will happen now. That's what we are feeling. Even after Supreme Court guiding and making code of conduct, if such thing happens, means this has been done deliberately with an intention of monetary or a financial gain to many students and many bureaucrats. It is simple thing we could understand. This has been done for monetary and financial gain and nothing else. Because in 2023, Supreme Court has given code of conduct how to follow, from where to take the papers, in which car to take the papers, where to publish it, in which format they need to be binded up and then taken to the centers, how the centers have to open the papers. Everything has been listed by Supreme Court. If still paper gets leaked, means it has a very big monetary involvement. And this goes to the leading government right now, and government has to be cautious and take a cognizant step against the culprit who can be identified and who will be identified, as CBI has already started the investigation. And
yes,
to the
yes. In fact, the government has gone ahead, the government has gone ahead, given it to the CBI. They are carrying the inquiry because once they got the report, probably they are waiting on this. But again, it's always a foolproof method. There is a huge number of people who are involved in the distribution network of these papers itself. Anywhere a leak can happen, and to plug that, it's going to take a humongous effort. Meanwhile, we are also joined in by Advocate Anubhav Srivastava Sahai, who in fact is an educationist and president of the India-wide Parent Association. Anubhav, you know, one crisis is that the exams have been cancelled. The second part of it is that the mental condition that these students who had invested so much of their time have to go through. This cannot be that the mental health of students also have to be affected because someone decides to cheat into the system or they try to compromise the system. This has a huge stake. And when it comes to mental health of the students, I know a lot of students who have been dedicated day and night studying only for that NEET exam to crack it as much as possible, because there's pressure from the family, there's expectations from the family. Some of them have in fact taken loans and got their students into coaching centers to ensure that they crack this exam. When there's so much onto it, this mental stress of a cancelled exam, preparing for another, it's going to be difficult on them.
Thank you for having me on this show. And this is a very serious issue, and this is not for the first time that paper leak or some kind of irregularity, especially in NEET exam, is happening. Time and again, we can see last year also it happened, few years ago also it happened. And there was no action which was being taken apart from maybe against some students and parents and some people who were involved. The system itself is at fault, and due to which the children and students are suffering, parents are suffering. Those who have invested time almost for 3-4 years for this NEET exam preparation, they will be under a lot of stress now, because it is not easy to again reappear for the exam and again study. The students are appearing for other exams also. The NEET aspirants are appearing for JEE exams. They are appearing for CUET. They are appearing for multiple exams at the same time. It's not only that they are appearing for NEET exam. They have to prepare for other entrance exams also at the same time. So the students will be at loss, and I don't know how they are going to cope up. It's high time that government intervenes, and everyone, each and every people, every society should come forward and support the students at this stage, because the students, 25 lakh students, 22 lakh students who appeared for this exam, they will be under a lot of mental stress. We have to support them. We have to make them understand that, okay, the leak has happened, no doubt. The government should take strict action against the authorities who are involved. Definitely, there's a loophole in the system. That's why the paper leak happened. And it is the time for the government to reconsider whether to conduct the exam in pen and paper mode or to find out an alternate way. Because the system,
yes, that is the thing that they'll have to be in fact looking into. On the screens, Anubhav, we'll just come to you. On the screens, we'll just show you how that exam paper was disseminated. In fact, we have it coming through WhatsApp, we have Telegram networks. Now, these are how communication apps that were used to actually easily distribute these papers, and you can see how detailed the pictures are. So it just took someone with a camera mobile phone to take pictures of that paper, load it onto one of these communication apps that we have like WhatsApp or Telegram, and then distribute it to those who require it. This is how easy it is for a paper to be leaked if you are within the system. But we will now slip into a short break. Coming on the other side, there are reactions coming in with regard to the cancellation of the NEET exams. We listen to that and get back to our guests as well.
लगभग 9-10 दिन हो गए हैं और जब मीडिया में, सोशल मीडिया में पूरा खुलासा हो गया, तथ्य सामने आ गए, तो सरकार को मजबूरन इस परीक्षा को रद्द करना पड़ा। लेकिन सवाल ये उठता है कि पहली बार नहीं हो रहा। दूसरा, लगभग 22-23 लाख बच्चे जिन्होंने खुद, उनके परिवार वालों ने इतना त्याग तपस्या से मेहनत करी है, और आप सब जानते हैं इस एग्ज़ाम की तैयारी के लिए लोग ट्यूशन्स पढ़ते हैं, क्लासेस लेते हैं और अपना पेट काट के घर परिवार वाले लोग इन बच्चों की मदद करते हैं। सवाल ये है कि जब पेपर कैंसिल हुआ है तो जिन बच्चों ने ईमानदारी से ऑनेस्टली एग्ज़ाम दिया था उनका क्या हाशर होगा, और इस पूरी व्यवस्था पर सवाल खड़े हो गए हैं। जब नेशनल टेस्टिंग एजेंसी बनी थी तब कहा गया था फुल प्रूफ हम इंतजाम कर रहे हैं, और एनटीए लगातार एक्सपोज हो रहा है, और ये पहली बार नहीं हुआ। इससे पहले जब लीक हुआ, मेरे ख्याल 2 साल पहले, उसमें जांच बिठाई गई, उस जांच का कोई परिणाम नहीं आया, किसी को दंडित नहीं किया गया, किसी को उदाहरण नहीं बनाया गया। और जब ये पेपर धड़ल्ले से बिक रहा है, इसका एक बहुत बड़ा माफिया है, और मुझे लगता है कि इसका सरगना कोई बहुत ही प्रभावशाली लोग होंगे, क्योंकि इस तरह समय से पहले हूबहू जो गेस्ट पेपर है उसमें लगभग सारे क्वेश्चंस विदाउट चेंज ऑफ कॉमा एंड फुल स्टॉप वो दिए गए हैं। तो ये बहुत बड़ा ग्रोह है। अब पेपर बनाने वाले ने, छापने वाले ने, या एग्जाम कराने वाले, कौन लोग जिम्मेदार हैं, इसकी जांच अब सीबीआई करेगी। तो अगर हम लोगों को, इस देश के नौजवानों को न्याय दिलाना है तो इसकी जांच एक जुडिशल जांच हो, एक ऐसी इंक्वायरी हो जो सरकार के बाहर हो, क्योंकि सरकार में कोई शिक्षा विभाग है, कोई मंत्रालय है, कहां तक और सीबीआई उन लोगों को पकड़ पाएगी, खासकर जो बड़े लोग हैं।
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.
Welcome to this edition of the AI Report.
Accepted.
Why has Iran stopped the traffic in the Strait of Hormuz?
They want to attack us, they want to target us, so we have to defend ourselves.
They are punishing countries outside the region as well, like India, and like countries in South and East Asia. This is completely unacceptable.
But it amounts more to harassment than anything else. The big problem that they've created now is the closure of the strait.
Ultimately, the main purpose of this exercise is, frankly, to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon.
We have to watch them carefully and closely as Israelis, but we have also to be patient and understand this is the nature of negotiations when it comes to Iran.
But even with a temporary pause, both are looking for deliverables for their political constituency.
Whenever they've got involved in a war on behalf of somebody else, there isn't been just an altruistic purpose. They've been involved in it for their own purpose as well.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.
In fact, the big question that we should be asking is why this NEET paper was in fact leaked and who is responsible for it. Now, we have with us Advocate Bhavan Vyas, petitioner and president for Vidyarthi Vidya Suraksha Samiti in Ahmedabad. Advocate Bhavan Vyas, what should be the system that you should be engaged in now? We are talking about this pen and paper method, but I think there should be more to this. This exam needs to have a kind of a rethink process. It has to be conducted in a different way, and probably we have to conduct most of our public exams like this to prevent the kind of compromise such papers are having, especially with these leaks coming to light. What kind of a system should we look in? Should we go in for an electronically looked into system where everyone, especially till the last moment, do not know what is the kind of paper that they will be getting, and then probably we are able to get those papers only at the last minute? The physical nature of the paper, there should be some kind of electronic nature of the paper. The question should be of electronic nature. Something should be there that would in fact address this problem, where the chances of people being involved in distributing it is removed.
To maintain the sanity of the exam, we need to take NEET exam neatly in a method where electronic and today's say communication method should be used. Like, for example, our biometrics are attached with our Aadhaar card. So why not we make a system electronically or on computer, because this exam is totally objective exam. Once this Aadhaar card and your thumb imprint are there, you could take the exam, so that there won't be any cheating or no other person could come and write on your behalf once you are in the center. So by this, the transparency, merit and equal opportunity for the exams can be maintained. This is just a suggestion. If government thinks they could follow, if not, then whatever Supreme Court has already mentioned, they should follow thoroughly. But unfortunately, they have not followed thoroughly this time. So I particularly wish to be 100% proof. We definitely have to take this exam on a computer operated method, just like other exams like IELTS and other exams are being conducted by foreign countries. And in that, there are no cheatings or nothing, such type of things we are hearing. Further, the mental trauma, right now what student will think, or the mental conditions of the students would be very different to take the exam again. Unless the investigating agency concludes their investigation, I think NTA shouldn't have given the statement that exams are cancelled. Once thorough investigation occurs, and if any multi-state level leak is confirmed by such CBI agencies, then and then, if NTA would have given such a circular, then it would be in say betterment of the students and 1 crore households of India. I wish that the exam should be conducted electronically, and now we are in an era of AI and computer, so we have to follow and we have to learn from the foreign countries also, where America, how they are taking their high level examinations, and where China and other countries are taking their examinations. Here, every year or every couple of years, there are paper leaks. In Gujarat, from where I am, I could say that Gujarat is capital of paper leaks. In every year, there are more than 2 to 3 paper leaks over here for the state body. So if this is happening with national body, and students are being used as an experimental tool, then that should be put to an end.
Right. In fact, right now we are getting visuals in, and this is when the Education Minister, Dharmendra Pradhan, was moving out. The reporters were behind him asking that question, the crucial question on this paper leak. The minister has remained silent. Meanwhile, there are also reactions coming in from the students from Lucknow. Let's listen.
पेपर लीक हर बार हो जाता है, जैसे कि बच्चे साल भर प्रिपरेशन करते हैं, लाखों रुपए लगाते हैं, 2 साल कोई प्रिपेयर कर रहा है, 11 12 कोई ड्रॉपर में है, हमेशा मेहनत करता है, फिर जब एग्जाम देने आता है तो पता चलता है कि पेपर लीक हो गया है। तो बच्चों पे प्रेशर बनता है। देखिए कोटा में काफ़ी सुसाइडल अटेम्प्ट भी होते हैं, इसी सब के कारण भी होते हैं, क्योंकि वो बच्चे परेशान हो जाते हैं, कहीं पेपर लीक हो जाता है तो कहीं पेपर, कुछ बच्चे हार्ड का प्रिपरेशन करते हैं तो इजी बना देते हैं, उससे कंपटीशन भी घटता चला जा रहा है। कुछ जो लायक हैं वो डॉक्टर नहीं बन रहे हैं, जो प्रिपेयर किए हैं वो उनका होता ही नहीं है। बस यही है।
क्या नाम है आपका?
यशदीप नाम है मेरा।
यशदीप, आप कितने समय से तैयारी कर रहे हैं?
जी मेरे को फिलहाल तो 2 साल हो चुके हैं। 11 थोड़ी सी वेस्ट हो गई थी कुछ बीमारी की वजह से, बाकी ये कहते 12th पढ़ाई की है और ड्रॉप लेने का सोचा है मैंने।
पर आप नीट करना चाहते हो, मान लीजिए आपको ये पता चले कि आपने परीक्षा पूरी मेहनत से दी लेकिन उसका पेपर लीक हो गया,
ऐसे तो बहुत बुरा लगेगा, क्योंकि ऐसा है ना, प्रिपरेशन की है उस हिसाब से की कि एग्ज़ाम के लेवल पे की है। अब ये है कि पेपर लीक हो रहा है तो कुछ चांसेस ये भी बताए जा रहे हैं कि है ना डी-नीट होगा, मतलब दोबारा होगा पेपर, तो फ़ायदा ही क्या है, क्योंकि हम उसमें अच्छा स्कोर किया हो और डी-नीट हो जाए, क्या पता उसमें नंबर थोड़ा बहुत कम रह जाए।
दोबारा परीक्षा देने की जो बात है उसमें कितना फ़र्क पड़ता है एक स्टूडेंट के ऊपर, कि एक परीक्षा दी पूरी मेहनत के बाद, अब दोबारा उसी को देना, तैयारी तो है लेकिन दूसरे बार परीक्षा देने में कितना फ़र्क पड़ जाता है?
पड़ता है थोड़ा सा, क्योंकि
बट रैंक का फर्क पड़ जाता है ना, रैंक कम हो जाएगी,
एक नंबर से रैंक कम हो जाती है, तो यही चीज़ है। अब कॉलेज में मिस हो सकता है, ऐसे बहुत से लोगों का। फिलहाल तो इस साल हमने नीट नहीं दी है, लेकिन क्या पता हमारे देने पे कि दोबारा फिर वो पेपर लीक हो जाए, तो वही चीज़ है।
किसी का कॉलेज ड्रीम कॉलेज एम्स दिल्ली है तो रैंक घट जाएगा, एम्स ऋषिकेश मिलेगा, उसने सालों प्रिपेयर किया है एम्स दिल्ली के लिए, उसे एम्स ऋषिकेश मिल रहा है, यही सब दिक्कतें आती हैं बस।
यानी दूसरी बार जब परीक्षा देने जाएंगे तो वो बात नहीं रह जाती?
वो बात रहती भी है, डिपेंड करता है पेपर के ऊपर, लेकिन ये कुछ बच्चों को इस बार, मेरे साथ के जो मेंबर्स हैं उनका एग्जाम अच्छा गया है इस बार, काफ़ी अच्छा गया है, तो उस कंपैरिजन में अगर दोबारा वो पेपर देते हैं, अब व्हाट इफ क्या पता उनका कुछ ना कुछ रह जाए। अभी तो फिलहाल बोल रहा है कि ऐसे से मेरा ऐसा कट ऑफ निकलेगा एंड बाकी जाके मुझे ऐसा कॉलेज मिल जाएगा।
2 साल तक इतनी तैयारी करने के बाद, और पेपर 23 लाख इतना बड़ा नंबर है और हर जगह सेंटर आते हैं, ऑल ओवर इंडिया पेपर हो रहा है। फिर अगर ऐसे ही एक दिन बोलें पेपर के 10 दिन बाद वो भी कि पेपर लीक हो गया तो पेपर कैंसिल करें, ये कोई बात थोड़ी होती है। मतलब इतना एनटीए इतनी बड़ी बॉडी है, गवर्नमेंट बॉडी है, इतने टाइम से पेपर करा रहे हैं, पेपर लीक हो रहा है और पेपर सीधे कैंसिल, इस पर कुछ मतलब करना चाहिए। इतने बच्चे मेहनत करते 2 साल और मतलब ऐसे ही एक मिनट में उन्होंने मेहनत वेस्ट कर दी, सब एकदम रिलैक्स माइंड से, पढ़ाई कुछ नहीं करनी, और आप अचानक से बोल रहे हो अगले महीने आके वापस सीट दो, ये बात तो कोई बेकार सी बात होगी कुछ। मतलब मैं 2 साल से तैयारी कर रहा हूँ प्रॉपर एकदम, एंड पूरा मैंने अपना 100% दिया है, और नीट में भी इस बार काफ़ी अच्छा स्कोर आ रहा था टेंटेटिव आंसर की से, 710 नंबर मेरे आ रहे थे, और फिर अब ये ऐसे बोल रहे हैं, मतलब क्या ही बोलूं।
Advocate Bhavin Vyas, in fact, a lot of students, we have seen the reactions coming in, a lot of them are quite upset that this is not what they were looking forward for, nor it is something that is within their hands. So it's just the sort of depression that they get from this kind of a thing. But then the other big question that we need to ask is that how do you go from here? It's not the end. They have in fact gone ahead and carried out with the secondary measures. They've said that you don't need to register again. You don't need to move away from your cited preference for these exam centers. So all that remains. Even refunding of money has been also touted on the part of the NTA with regard to the NEET, and probably a new date would be given as such. But NEET is about medical education. Now, a lot of people aspire to become doctors, get into the medical field, and NEET is the primary exam that helps them to go through one of the toughest screening procedures probably that is there in the country for aspiring doctors. Now, how difficult it is. We are talking about how the students face it different, but how difficult it is that such corrupt practices that come into a system like this creates panic, and also in the longer run will compromise the health infrastructure of this country, the health welfare system of this country, and at the same time the very practitioners of health. If a person who has a medical condition will always have a doubt when he sees a doctor, because if there is a compromise that's come in, and if it is being not looked into, it is going to hit at the very trust of the person who is going to treat and the person who is going to get treated, isn't it?
Very true. I think everybody is looking up towards to our Prime Minister Modi ji, and I personally feel that the examinations now, what students have to think about their examinations is that they need to be updated for their schedules, for everything, admit cards to their classes where they are going to take the exams, centers basically, and they need to stay away from the misinformation and the rumors, take some break, get out of all this thing which is right now going on, have a break for a couple of days, start again freshly, and best of luck to all the students. Unfortunate part is that there is a renewed.
Right. In fact, we are also joined in by Advocate Anubhav Srivastava Thaai, who's also with us. Anubhav, this WhatsApp group in which most of the papers and the copies of the papers came was called Private Mafia. And you have a silent education minister who did not speak to the media when they in fact wanted something on this. How do you see this entire leak as such, especially when it comes to the ability to in fact ensure that it leaks efficiently? In fact, you should say that it's leaked efficiently, and at the same time silence on the part of those who are supposed to be in charge of, who's supposed to protect it.
Right now I'm
yeah, this is a very serious issue actually, and I don't know why education minister is not even ready to give any statement. He should in fact he should be the first person to come in front and also guide the parents and students also how to deal with such situation now. He is avoiding media, he is avoiding everyone. In fact, he should be the first person to come forward and interact with students community. He should be the first person to come and give some statement as far as the exam paper leak has happened. But I cannot see anything from his end. He is not taking it that seriously. I don't know the reason. And as a students community, as a parents community, we also look forward to the ministers who are holding the post, like education minister, that he should at least come forward and speak and interact with the media, interact with students. I remember Mr. Pokhriyal during COVID, he used to come and interact with students. Used to interact with students at least for whatever reason, the exam cancellation or any other issue which used to happen. Mr. Pokhriyal used to interact with students community, parents community, but I could not find any such thing with the existing education minister, Mr. Pradhan. So why he is avoiding media, why he is not coming forward?
One crucial aspect of this is that from the WhatsApp groups, what we understand is these are pictures that have been taken of that paper, which we think is what was the final paper that has been put on. Investigation still going on that. Now, it was very simple that they could get a copy of it. They need not take it physically from the storehouse and take it to some place to make a photocopy and then distribute. They didn't need to do all that. They had to just make a soft copy, a very interesting HD definition soft copy, and that could have easily been taken only with the mobile phone and with the camera mobile phone. So with the camera mobile phone and with apps ready that could easily distribute it across networks, I think the foolproof security system should look at people having access to this or who are in charge of this shouldn't be in the vicinity of these papers with their camera phones. It's one simple security check that they can take, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. See, there are a lot of ways now because of technology. It is more easy for the authorities to contain such kind of leak. Easily they can stop such kind of leak if it is happening. It's not only one exam which is taking place in India. There are multiple exams. UG exams are also being conducted by other exams are also being conducted as far as the UG courses are concerned. It's not only NEET exam which is taking place. There are other multiple exams which are also happening. And I could not find any such issue as far as other exams are concerned. We have a NET exam. Recently the UGC has started with another exam for undergraduate courses. where more than 25 lakh students appear for the exam, but we could not find any such kind of paper leak in those exams. So that if in NEET exam paper leak is happening, in JEE also you will not find. We have never heard about any kind of paper leak in JEE exam, JEE main, JEE advanced. So why only in NEET the paper leak is happening, and it is not that difficult to conduct such exam without any leak. So definitely the system is at fault. The examination conducting body is at fault. The authorities which are involved, how the leak happened, I think the CBI will investigate, and strict action should be taken against the authorities also, those who are involved in this paper leak scam. I don't think that government should hide from our students and parents community. They should come forward and find out and also reveal the names of those who are involved in this whole scam. It is a matter of it is the matter of security. It is the matter of future of our students who are.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be. Amid a fragile ceasefire, stakeholders take on the tough questions.
Was Israel surprised by the asymmetric warfare which Iran started conducting?
Yes, I think it was a kind of surprise, the level of savagery.
Why has Iran stopped the traffic in the Strait of Hormuz?
So we have to defend ourselves.
Like never before, on point with Kartikeya Sharma, decoding Hormuz, Kharg and the ceasefire.
What is the future of peace in West Asia?
I hope that they got their lesson.
That are supposed to give a chance. We stay ready in case it doesn't work.
Every war has a political objective.
The voices that matter, only on News9.
Why has Iran stopped the traffic in the Strait of Hormuz?
They want to attack us, they want to target us, so we have to defend ourselves.
They are punishing countries outside the region as well, like India, and like countries in South and East Asia. This is completely unacceptable.
But it amounts more to harassment than anything else. The big problem that they've created now is the closure of the strait.
Ultimately, the main purpose of this exercise is, frankly, to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon.
We have to watch them carefully and closely as Israelis, but we have also to be patient and understand this is the nature of negotiations when it comes to Iran.
But even with a temporary pause, both are looking for deliverables for their political constituency.
Whenever they've got involved in a war on behalf of somebody else, there isn't been just an altruistic purpose. They've been involved in it for their own purpose as well.
Welcome to this edition of the AI Report.
Accepted.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.
And our top focus at this hour is the mediator role of Pakistan, which is now under question. Even as Pakistan projected itself as a diplomatic bridge between Iran and the United States during the ongoing West Asia conflict, explosive new claims now suggest that Islamabad may have quietly allowed Iranian military aircraft to shelter on its air bases. Now, according to US officials, Iran has also moved civilian aircraft into neighboring Afghanistan as tensions escalated between the two countries. According to American officials familiar with the matter, several Iranian aircraft were reportedly moved to Pakistan's strategically important Noor Khan Air Base near Rawalpindi shortly after US President Donald Trump announced a ceasefire proposal in early April. Among the aircraft allegedly parked there was an Iranian Air Force RC-130 plane, a military surveillance variant of the Lockheed C-130 Hercules aircraft. US officials claim that the move appeared to be an effort by Tehran to protect some of its remaining military and aviation assets from possible American airstrikes. However, a senior Pakistani official has strongly denied the allegations, saying that a large fleet of aircraft could not remain hidden at Noor Khan Air Base, which is located in the middle of a densely populated city. Meanwhile, reports also suggest that Iran moved at least one civilian aircraft belonging to Mahan Air into Afghanistan before the conflict intensified. According to an Afghan civil aviation officer, the aircraft landed in Kabul shortly after Iranian airspace was shut down. The aircraft was later shifted to Herat near the Iranian border amid fears of Pakistani airstrikes during tensions between Islamabad and the Taliban government. However, Taliban spokesperson denied that any Iranian aircraft were being sheltered in Afghanistan. The developments come amid growing geopolitical tensions involving China, Pakistan and Iran. A recent study has showed that nearly 80% of Pakistan's major arms imports between 2020 and 2024 came from China. Analysts say that Islamabad has been carefully balancing its ties with Washington, Tehran and Beijing while attempting to position itself as a stabilizing intermediary in the region. And I'm being joined by Major General Rajan Kochar, who's a defense and a geopolitical expert on the broadcast with me. Major General, Pakistan's mediator role is again in question. Is it trying to be a mediator or a player in this Iran-US conflict? Because now reports are suggesting that Pakistan was sheltering an Iranian aircraft while the tensions between both the countries were underway.
Thank you very much for inviting me to this discussion. See, as a matter of principle, if you are a mediator, you will not resort to this kind of a practice because a mediator is supposed to be a very impartial kind of a player. You see in the whole game. But there are 2-3 things we need to understand here. First is the timing, that when this happened, was it before the ceasefire or it was during the ceasefire? So timing of this placement of this aircraft is also very important. And secondly, the request would have been made by Iran because of its protection of its air assets, because we are aware that most of the air defense architecture of Iran was destroyed by the US, and there is nothing much left of the air defense as far as Iran is concerned, because we saw the American aircrafts flying all over Iran without any opposition. So now, considering that why Pakistan is doing this, there are a number of factors to be taken into account. First is that Pakistan wants to have a very congenial relation with Iran, because if you remember, about a year and a half back, there were missile strikes from Sistan, Balkistan and all those areas, Baluchistan areas, from where these Jaish-e-Adal terrorist camps were operating, and Iran had accused Pakistan at that point of time for harboring these terrorists on its own soil. So Pakistan also had to resort to certain missile strikes. So relations were not that good, and considering this negotiation, I think Pakistan has got very, very high stakes involved, because Pakistan needs to show the world that it has been able to cause, or it has been able to sustain peace between the US and Iran. So considering the high stakes Pakistan has, I don't see it beyond Pakistan to give protection to this aircraft within its own soil. Secondly, because in case Pakistan wants to make a headway with Iran, it must obtain the trust of Iran. So this would also be one of the ways by which you could develop a trust with a country whom you are negotiating with. Third is we know there is a sizable Shia population within Pakistan. Almost 18% is the Shia population in Pakistan. So their sentiments also to a large extent matter to Pakistan, because we have seen, if you remember, there were riots in Karachi and all those areas when this Palestinian issue was going on and this Board of Peace was being talked about. So I think there are numerous factors which have propelled Pakistan to do this kind of a thing, and it has been done, you see, under secrecy, because now this US report is coming out. We don't hear any statements from the Pakistan establishment to confirm this. Possibly they want to avoid this kind of publicity, link this up with this opening of the trade routes with Iran, because we are aware that 6 trade routes have also opened in Iran. So basically it is to suggest that Pakistan is softening up to Iran, because Pakistan wants to give certain concessions to Iran in order to get certain concessions from them as far as the peace deal is concerned with the Americans. So I think it is more of a geopolitical game rather than a country-to-country relationship. It is possible to get some leverage from Iran in order to be beneficial and seen as a successful mediator, because right now things are not going well with Pakistan. We see that these peace talks are going nowhere. But what I could make out from the body language of Pakistani leaders, Shahbaz Sharif and General Munir, when they visited Iran, I could make out that they enjoy a certain kind of friendly relationship with the establishment of Iran today, and maybe it is because of these actions which Pakistan has
right.
done.
But Mr. Kochhar, do you think that Pakistan is quietly trying to protect the strategic interest of Tehran? And if yes, do you think that Pakistan is ready to risk the growing bonhomie that we see between Pakistan and US? I don't think so that Pakistan has that leeway to play the role of mediator, to wear that mask and then quietly bet on Tehran by protecting their strategic interest.
This is a very good question, because you see, diplomacy and geopolitics, there are many things which are considered behind the scenes, in the sense that openly US may give some kind of a statement, but you never know, it may have the tacit approval of the United States also. Because since Pakistan would have made a request to the United States, because I don't see a situation in which Pakistan has done this without informing the US, because hiding an aircraft of this magnitude, I don't think is an easy thing, and later on, as you rightly said, the repercussions can be very bad. So I think it has the tacit approval of the United States, because this is what I can make out, because Pakistan, I don't think has that kind of a courage to do things without approval of the US, and opening of the trade routes also is an indication on the same lines. Possibly United States does not want to offer any concession to Iran openly from their side, but behind the scenes, maybe if Pakistan is trying to soften up Iran in its own way, I think the US would not have a major objection to that.
Well, thank you so much, Major General, for joining me on the broadcast. Right now, all eyes are on Pakistan, on how they will mediate between this Iran and US war. And meanwhile, hopes for a peace deal on Iran faded on Tuesday after Donald Trump said that the ceasefire with Iran was on life support, as Tehran rejected a US proposal to end the conflict and stuck to a list of demands that the US president went on to describe as garbage. Have a look at this report.
The fragile ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran is once again under pressure. That's after U.S. President Donald Trump on Monday rejected Tehran's latest response to a U.S. proposal to end the war.
After reading that piece of garbage they sent us, I didn't even finish reading it. They said, I'm not going to waste my time reading it. I would say it's one of the weakest Right now, it's on life support.
The U.S. wants fighting to stop first, before moving on to negotiations on more complex issues like Iran's nuclear program. But Tehran is pushing back, calling for an end to the conflict across the region, including Lebanon, where Israel is fighting Iran-backed Hezbollah. It's also demanding compensation for war damages, an end to the U.S. naval blockade, guarantees against further attacks, and a return to freely exporting its oil. Traffic through the Strait of Hormuz shipping route has dropped to a trickle amid the threat of Iranian attacks, and the disruption is rippling through global markets. Oil prices have jumped back above $100 a barrel in recent days as peace hopes faded. Washington on Monday piled on pressure, announcing new sanctions against Iran's oil shipments to China. But in the U.S., public support is slipping. A new Reuters Ipsos poll shows most Americans feel the president has not clearly explained the war's goals. Now the focus turns to Trump's expected meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping this week. The U.S. president has been leaning on Beijing to use its influence to push Tehran towards a deal.
And now, after disrupting global oil routes through the Strait of Hormuz, Iran is now reportedly eyeing control over another critical global lifeline, which is the internet. According to reports linked to Iran's Revolutionary Guard media outlets, Tehran is exploring plans to impose what experts are calling a digital toll on the massive network of undersea internet cables passing through the strategic waterway. Reports by Iranian state-linked agencies suggest that the IRGC wants to transform the Strait of Hormuz into what it described as a strategic and a center for digital power and wealth creation. The strait is not only one of the world's most important oil routes, but also a key corridor for global internet infrastructure. Officials claim that more than 99% of international internet traffic moves through the undersea fiber optic cables, many of which pass near the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian media has described the region as a hidden highway carrying more than $10 trillion in financial transactions every day. According to the reports, Iran is considering a three-step plan to monetize these undersea communication cables. The first step involves imposing transit taxes or annual toll charges on foreign technology companies whose cables pass through the strait. The second proposal could require global tech giants like Meta, Amazon and Microsoft to operate under Iranian law if their data flows through the region. And the third step could hand Iranian companies full control over the repair and maintenance of these cables. Iranian media outlets have warned that even a temporary disruptions to these cable networks could trigger massive global economic losses. Experts say that if Iran moves ahead with the plan, technology companies may pass the additional cost on to consumers, potentially making digital services more expensive worldwide. There are also concerns that rerouting internet traffic could increase latency, affecting online gaming, streaming services and international communications. Cybersecurity and privacy experts additionally fear that forcing companies to comply with Iranian regulations could expose global user data to surveillance and monitoring. Now, as tensions continue to rise in West Asia, Iran's reported attempt to turn the Strait of Hormuz into a digital toll corridor could open a new front in global geopolitical competition, one that now stretches far beyond oil into the very backbone of the internet itself. And with that, it's time for us to slip into a quick commercial breather. Keep watching News9.
Associate sponsor Love from Dad Collection by De Beers Group.
मंडे आइएगा सब पेपर्स के साथ.
सारे पेपर्स हैं सर. होम लोन के लिए बार बार बैंक के चक्कर लगाने से कैसे बचूं?
Why has Iran stopped the traffic in the Strait of Hormuz?
They want to attack us, they want to target us, so we have to defend ourselves.
They are punishing countries outside the region as well, like India. and like countries in South and East Asia. This is completely unacceptable.
But it amounts more to harassment than anything else. The big problem that they've created now is the closure of the strait.
Ultimately, the main purpose of this exercise is, frankly, to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon.
We have to watch them carefully and closely as Israelis, but we have also to be patient and understand this is the nature of negotiations when it comes to Iran.
But even with a temporary pause, both are looking for deliverables for their political constituency.
Whenever they've got involved in a war on behalf of somebody else, there isn't been just an altruistic purpose. They've been involved in it for their own purpose as well.
And now US President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping are set for high-stakes talks in China this week, with Iran, Taiwan trade, artificial intelligence and nuclear weapons dominating the agenda as both sides look to stabilize strained ties. Have a look at this report.
US President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping are set for talks on Thursday and Friday in Trump's first trip to China since 2017. The leaders of the world's two largest economies will attempt to stabilize ties strained by trade, the US and Israeli war with Iran, and nuclear weapons. Alejandro Reyes from the University of Hong Kong's Department of Politics and Public Administration says it's an important summit for both leaders.
Not just the geopolitics, world geopolitics, but also in the global economy.
Here is what US officials say is on the agenda. China maintains ties with Iran and remains a major consumer of its oil exports. Trump has been leaning on China to use its influence to push Tehran to make a deal with Washington and end the ongoing conflict that began when the US and Israel launched strikes on Iran in late February. But Trump may be overestimating China's global influence.
So the idea that that Tehran would sort of take notes from Beijing and do whatever Beijing wants it to do is really not a way to understand that relationship.
Xi, meanwhile, is frustrated with Washington over Taiwan. The US remains the most important international backer and arms supplier for the democratically governed island, which Beijing claims as its own Chinese territory. China has ramped up its military presence near Taiwan in recent years, but US policy will not change, an official said. The US and China are expected to agree to forums to facilitate mutual trade and investment, while China is expected to announce purchases related to Boeing airplanes, American agriculture and energy, the officials said. The two countries will also discuss lengthening a truce in their trade war that will allow rare earth minerals to flow from China to the US, though it is not clear if that agreement will be extended this week. The Trump aides expressed increasing concern about advanced artificial intelligence models being developed in China. They believe the two sides need a channel of communication to avoid conflicts arising from their use. Washington has also long hoped to open up talks with Beijing about nuclear weapons, though China remains reluctant to discuss its arsenal. Officials say China has made clear they have no interest in discussing nuclear arms controls.
And now the families of two Americans imprisoned in China for more than a decade are urging US President Donald Trump to seek their release during his summit with Chinese leader Xi Jinping this week. Here's more in this report.
In Louisiana, a U.S. Army veteran is holding on to hope ahead of President Donald Trump's meeting with China's Xi Jinping this week, and for a deeply personal reason. Nelson Wells Sr. is among families urging the president to press for the release of two Americans jailed in China. They are 52-year-old Nelson Wells Jr., a Louisiana father of three, and 54-year-old Don Michelle Hunt, a Chicago area artist and former flight attendant. Both were convicted on drug charges in cases their families say were blind mule scams, where they unknowingly carried narcotics and have been imprisoned for more than a decade. For Wells Sr., the wait has been devastating.
When a child calls and they're in a situation like that,
you start to feeling, wow, I can't do anything. My child needs me and I can't help him. I can't do anything. And that's what made me go to the point where I checked out. I didn't care about cancer. I didn't care about my heart. It was all about my son. I could not help him.
For Trump, who has cast himself as a deal maker, securing their release would be a win from a summit expected to be short on outcomes, while Senior believes the president can make that happen.
All we need is for somebody from officially high up, not anybody from the bottom ranks, but somebody high up, President Trump, to say, oh, by the way, I know I got this here going on, this, that, and the other, but y'all got two of my Americans, their parents and their family members that served my country well. Send them back home. What can we do to get them back home?
The summit comes at a tense moment in U.S.-China ties. For both sides, a humanitarian release could be a point of progress. In Chicago, Don Hunt's brother Tim says their appeal is simple and urgent.
They're both sick, and we're just asking for that humanity to overcome everything else, for humanity to overcome politics, to overcome everything, and just bring them home. That's all we're asking for.
Families say both detainees are in declining health. Hunt has developed serious health problems and needs blood transfusions, but is wary of prison doctors and reluctant to consent to surgery. Wells Jr. suffers from seizures, diabetes, high blood pressure, and other complications. Beyond health concerns, their absence is still deeply felt at home. Wells Jr.'s youngest daughter, now 12, has barely known her father. She was 6 months old when he was arrested, his family said. Tim Hunt says their father died in January, still waiting for his daughter's return.
My dad passed in January, and I promised him that I was gonna bring her home, and I want to keep that promise to him, so he can rest in peace. I want to keep that promise.
And meanwhile, the U.S. Supreme Court extended a pause on a ruling that would curb the abortion pill mifepristone from being prescribed through telemedicine and dispensed through the mail in a challenge by Republican-led Louisiana lawsuit to a federal rule that had eased access. Have a look at this report.
The U.S. Supreme Court on Monday extended a pause on a ruling that narrowed access to the abortion pill nationwide. Justice Samuel Alito kept the matter on hold until May 14th, meaning mifepristone can still be prescribed via telemedicine and sent by mail, at least for now. The justices are reviewing a request from two drug makers to lift a lower court ruling that would roll back those options. A New Orleans-based court of appeals had stepped in on May 1st, reinstating an older rule requiring an in-person visit before the pill can be dispensed. The Supreme Court then put that decision on hold, giving itself more time to consider the case. At the center of the dispute is a 2025 lawsuit from Louisiana. It challenged a 2023 FDA rule that eased access by removing the in-person requirement. Medication abortion accounts for about 2/3 of terminations in the U.S., meaning any change to how it's prescribed could have nationwide impact. The case returns abortion access to the top court, just a few years after its 2022 decision overturning the landmark Roe v. Wade precedent. That ruling triggered near-total bans in 13 states, with several others imposing strict limits.
And meanwhile, Nigeria's aviation sector is facing heightened safety and operational concerns due to jet fuel supply shortages amid already soaring oil prices. The National Association of Aircraft Pilots and Engineers said that the scarcity of jet fuel has triggered challenges like flight delays and route adjustments. Here's more in this report.
Nigeria's aviation sector faces heightened safety and operational concerns due to jet fuel supply shortages amid already soaring oil prices. The National Association of Aircraft Pilots and Engineers said the scarcity of jet fuel has triggered challenges such as flight delays and route adjustments. NAAP President Captain Bumi Ginde said ongoing fuel shortages were also pushing crews beyond planned limits as airlines struggle to manage schedules amid rising costs. This has increased fatigue among workers, which could potentially violate the industry's strict rest regulations. Local carrier Rano Air said this week that steep jet fuel prices had made some routes commercially unsustainable. Industry sources said other carriers have also begun rescheduling or canceling flights and cutting unprofitable routes. This comes at a difficult time for Nigeria's aviation sector, already strained by factors such as foreign exchange volatility, high aircraft maintenance costs, airport infrastructure constraints, and fuel price swings. Airlines last month also threatened to suspend operations over what they described as crippling and artificially inflated jet fuel prices. Nigeria's downstream petroleum regulator said fuel prices would not be capped, adding that any decisions on deregulated products would be formally communicated. The country's airline industry carries millions of passengers annually and plays a critical role in connecting cities where road travel is often slow or insecure.
And now in Russia's tightening digital landscape, even the smallest businesses are struggling with the Kremlin's growing internet restrictions. Limits on popular apps like Telegram, tighter VPN controls and mobile internet shutdowns have created serious problems for firms around the country.
Natalia Kukovinets has had to switch messaging apps repeatedly to stay in touch with her customers. The dog clothing entrepreneur is one of many small business operators in Russia struggling with the Kremlin's growing internet restrictions. Limits on popular apps like Telegram, tighter VPN controls, and mobile internet shutdowns have created serious problems for such companies. For Kukovinets' Wagon Tails brand, Telegram was the only source of sales after Instagram was blocked in 2022 and WhatsApp in February. But that channel is under pressure too.
Now with the Telegram ban, it has become harder to track incoming requests. It does not work without a VPN turned on, and notifications often do not come through. There are also problems with loading images. Moreover, some apps do not work properly when a VPN is on, while Telegram requires it. All of this leads to communication delays.
She is not alone in her troubles. Countless small businesses and self-employed Russians depend on messaging apps. Moscow restaurant Skrepka said a restrictions-linked glitch in April blocked online orders for its iced Easter cakes. Manager Daria Teterina said a surge in orders crashed their Telegram bot for an hour. Customers could not load the QR codes needed to collect their cakes, which sparked angry complaints. This week, the Kremlin said it would not compensate businesses for losses caused by its recent mobile internet shutdowns in Moscow. President Vladimir Putin insists such restrictions are necessary for national security. There is no official data on the economic impacts of the various internet curbs. But a recent survey found that more than 2/3 of Russians believe the limits have made daily life harder. One Moscow property broker said messages were often delayed in the city center, slowing responses and making communication harder. He says the disruption causes inconvenience and leads both agents and clients to lose money. While the full economic cost of the restrictions is unclear, it seems unlikely that access to messaging apps will return to normal anytime soon.
And now a quirky fallout of Iran war is now fizzing across India. A shortage of Diet Coke cans. With shipments disrupted through the Strait of Hormuz, supplies of the canned drink have taken a hit, triggering memes, hoardings and even themed parties. Cafes and menus are now cashing in on the craze, especially among young consumers who see Diet Coke as both a drink and a lifestyle aesthetic. Have a look at this report.
Diet Coke parties are bubbling up across India, where there's a shortage of cans linked to the Iran war.
I like the taste.
The soda is only sold here in cans, making it vulnerable to supply chain disruptions caused by shipments getting stuck in the Strait of Hormuz. The shortage has gone viral, with memes popping up showing people hoarding Diet Coke, and venues have been quick to turn it into a potential profit. Riddhi Jain is the founder of an art cafe.
The younger generation has really caught on to Diet Coke as a beverage of choice, and with the aluminium can shortage, I think a lot of people are trying to sort of keep the Diet Coke as an aesthetic, as a keepsake.
Diet Coke is a preferred alcohol mixer in India, often paired with rum. Coca-Cola and Pepsi count the country as a major growth market. With the exception of Diet Coke, most of their drinks are sold in plastic and glass bottles as well as cans. Now the scarcity is seeing some parties charge for entry, while others are hosting raffles with Diet Coke cans as the ultimate prize.
And now amid the ruins of Gaza, Palestinians are lifting weights beneath collapsed buildings, turning a shattered basement gym into a symbol of resilience. Despite trouble, shelling and fear, young athletes say that they are rebuilding both their bodies and their hope for Gaza's future. Have a look at this report.
We opened this gym in 2020. This place is a basement with some 3 floors above. During the war, the building was struck and only the basement remained. The 3 floors are all gone. They were struck. We live in this place. I mean, we train in it, but it is destroyed. The place is not suitable for work, nor suitable for living. The ceiling could fall on us at any time, or anything can happen. Now, in general, we are close to the yellow line. Despite stray bullets coming toward us, and bombing, and shelling reaching us, but thank God we are continuing, because there is no alternative but this place.
During the war, because gyms were closed and turned into shelters, I made primitive tools from concrete so that I could continue training, pursue my sport and keep my body. But during the famine period, I lost my body, I lost my sport and I lost my morale. So I could not continue in the sports field.
The place where we come to somehow relieve ourselves is a dilapidated one. The ceiling could fall on us at any moment. As we enter, the scene is rubble. We are training under the rubble. Who would imagine that there are youths from Gaza lifting iron and weights under the rubble? This is a microcosm of Gaza. Today we are building bodies under the rubble. God willing, the day will come when we rebuild Gaza again.
And now a worsening humanitarian crisis is unfolding in Gaza, where rat infestations are spreading through overcrowded tent camps housing displaced Palestinians. Residents say that rodents are biting children as they sleep, destroying belongings and raising fears of disease outbreaks amid collapsing sanitation systems and mounting shortages.
In the rubble of Khan Yunis, Gazans displaced by war find their tents overrun with rats, insects, and parasites. They bite children's fingers as they sleep, gnaw through belongings, and spread disease. This outbreak is unfolding as many of Gaza's more than 2 million people are now living in bombed-out homes and makeshift tents pitched on open ground, on roadsides, or atop the ruins of destroyed buildings. Amid shortages imposed by Israel, pesticides and rat traps are scarce. Ghalia Abu Selmi now lives here in a tent.
We
used to have rodents in the past, but they were little and we didn't feel them in our homes in the stone buildings. The municipality used to give us insecticides and spray for mosquitoes, fleas, flies and rodents. They gave us poison and other products to address this thing, but we're surprised to find them living with us. This is truly difficult. We can't bear this at all. We just can't.
Israel cites security concerns for curbs on Gaza. Israel generally restricts the entry to Gaza of items it says can have dual military or civilian use. Dr. Asad Sadiq heads the dermatology department at Nasser Hospital. He told Reuters accumulation of waste is leading to contact between humans and vermin, leading to bites and skin infections. He said Israeli restrictions on aid have meant severe shortages of dermatology treatments in the Gaza Strip. An October ceasefire between Israel and Hamas has done little to ease the suffering of Palestinians in Gaza, where sewage and sanitation systems have been mostly destroyed by Israel, and humanitarian aid is subject to Israeli restrictions. Saeb Lakan is a spokesperson for the Khan Yunis municipality. He said the destruction of infrastructure has prevented the city from accessing its main landfill, meaning waste accumulates among the displaced residents. He estimated Khan Yunis had more than 450,000 tons of waste surrounding the tents. The World Health Organization's local representative said there were around 17,000 rodent and ectoparasitic infection-related cases in Gaza so far this year.
Now, Israeli settlers in the occupied West Bank forced Palestinians to exhume the body of their father from his freshly dug village grave near a settlement, his family has said. 80-year-old Hussein Asasa died of natural causes and was buried that evening at a cemetery of Asasa village near Jenin. Shortly afterwards, settlers ordered the grave be dug up, his son Muhammad has said.
Israeli settlers in the occupied West Bank forced Palestinians to exhume the body of their father from his freshly dug village grave near a settlement, his family said. 80-year-old Hussein Assasa died on Friday of natural causes and was buried that evening at the cemetery of Assasa village near Jenin. Shortly afterwards, settlers ordered the grave to be dug up, his son Mohammed said. Reuters verified the location of this video but not the date, though no earlier video was posted on social media. Israeli soldiers are also seen in the images. Said the land was part of the settlement and we're not allowed to bury in it, he says. But we've been burying people there for decades. All necessary burial permits were obtained from Israel's military, Assasa said. He said the settlers had already dug out the grave when he returned, reaching the body, and that they threatened to dig their father up with a bulldozer, so the family exhumed him themselves. The Israeli military said it did not order the reburial, and that it condemns actions that violated dignity of the living and the deceased. It said the soldiers confiscated digging tools from the Israeli civilians and remained there in order to prevent further friction, and subsequently the family transferred the body for an alternative burial in the nearby village. The UN Human Rights Office condemned what it called an appalling incident. Reuters could not reach settlers from the nearby Sa-Nur settlement for comment. It was one of 19 settlements evacuated under a 2005 Israeli disengagement plan. But Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government approved its re-establishment a year ago, and construction has advanced rapidly, according to Peace Now, an Israeli settlement watchdog. His government, which staunchly opposes the establishment of a Palestinian state, has been accelerating settlement building on occupied territory, while a rise in settler attacks on Palestinians has drawn international alarm.
And now, amid severe shortages of basic materials in the war-hit Gaza, local carpenters are turning to scrap wood and discarded shipping pallets to build simple beds and furniture for displaced families.
As rats and parasites spread through Gaza's tent camps, Gazan Mohammed Taysir got a bed made from pallets to keep him off the floor.
I've been living in the tent for 2 years, he said, sleeping on the floor.
The enclave is facing a wood shortage due to Israeli restrictions that continue to curb the entry of goods into Gaza. Demand for basic furniture has risen among displaced Gazans in poor living conditions. In a workshop in southern Gaza, local carpenters are turning to scrap wood and used pallets to make furniture for displaced families. Here's carpenter Mohammed Wafi.
What made us resort to wood from pallets? It became available in the markets when trucks loaded with goods started entering. Or we took pallets from the Egyptian committee and bought those pallets. So I started using these pallets to make beds or dressers because the customer or the citizen needed something to use.
Wafi said even recycled furniture has become more costly as prices for basic components soar.
Wood is a construction material that Israel bans from entry to Gaza because it is considered a dual-use item.
Items for civilian but also potential military use. The ceasefire in Gaza has been repeatedly violated, with over 830 Palestinians and 4 Israeli soldiers reported killed since it began in October, according to Palestinian and Israeli tallies. Israel cites security concerns for curbs on Gaza. Colgate, the Israeli military agency that coordinates aid into Gaza, did not respond to a request for comment. But it has previously said it invests considerable efforts to ensure aid reaches Gaza and has denied restricting supplies.
And with that, it's time for us to slip into a quick commercial breather. Keep watching News 9.